So, getting set up here. Oh, we got one visitor already. Gonna, I don't want the music to be too loud. There's somebody in the house that I don't want to wake up. But gonna add a new page today. Wrapping up the prologue of the story. But yeah, here we are. So, I was on Patriarch's show today. Patriarch, the Patriarch, is the guy that I do my Tuesday show with. And he has a gamer show where he's playing a video game. I believe it's called Talos, I believe is what it is. And it's a really interesting video game. It's set in a sort of a utopian future, but in this future, humanity has died, and it's only robots with kind of like, hold on, with I guess robots that believe that they have like human consciousness. So it's pretty interesting. It's one of these kind of games where you solve puzzles and go on quests and things. It's a video game. The graphics are real nice. The aesthetics are nice. I feel like that's kind of a cool idea, is to do a gamer show and then have guests from our sphere on to discuss our issues, you know? And he had Mark Collette on his last show, or his first show. I'm the second guest. So I'm in good company in that regard. Let's see, Hook is here. Captain Hook, all right, Didymus is here. It's the Donald Cat Show. Hey, it's better than the Gong Show, right? You know what the Gong Show is? It's like a weird 70s game show. You can look it up, I guess. So the thing about today's show with Patriarch is that there were some technical difficulties, you know, that kind of, you know, like there's like, ah, shit, man, you know, the conversation was great, but there was like audio and just stupid shit like that. I did actually tell him, you know, what you should do is go in afterwards and like cut a lot of that out, you know, because it's just, I don't know, like certain parts, I think the audio could, like there was no real big conversation or whatever. There was just us trying to figure shit out, and then whatever, you get the idea. So, but then as the show got on, the conversation got very, very, very deep, and I think I said some of the most profound things that I've ever said, actually. So I don't know if that will disappear into internet obscurity, or if anyone will actually see the show. Paul is a really good soul. He's a really good guy, and he likes to get into, you know, some deeper philosophical discussions, as do I, you know. He's Christian, so he has that kind of lens on things, and I'm what am I? You know, this sort of like outlier, you know, this guy who has all these different esoteric embodiments. I don't know how to even describe myself, but I'll be honest, this is a quick segue into the new Robert Sefer video on the ancient Aryan Magi. I strongly recommend it. Go to Robert Sefer's YouTube and check it out. As you know, he's an anthropologist, and he gets into a lot of pretty good stuff in terms of his content. Heath Lawson is here. Very nice work. Well, thank you, Heath. I'll give you guys a look at some recent pages. Welcome to the community, Heath. Great to have you. This is an interactive chat show, so we can talk. Rumble, Odyssey. So the show, the gamer show, is on Patriart on YouTube, Rumble, and Odyssey. So there you go. Anyway, let me show you some recent pages. I just scanned a lot of these pages and sent them off to the colorist. We have a digital colorist. So since I think some of you have seen my recent work, maybe not, I don't know. Anyway, I'll just give you a little review of some. This is the prologue of the story, and it's all these empty spaces are for the text balloons or the captions, etc. So it's essentially tying together ancient mythology with modern film, and how there's a certain demographic of people that control our mythological stories, and that how this is a danger to us. Now this right here is getting right into the action of the story. Our main character here, he's got a kind of this sort of nanotechnology suit. He's invisible in this scene, and he's kind of infiltrated this cathedral where the deep state are having one of their cabal meetings, and he's about to kick ass and go to town on all the villains and whatnot. Capital Pig is here. You can see he's got the Democrat and Republican buttons on both sides of his jacket, and you get the symbolism there, perhaps. Some backstory. The analogy of the swamp, drain the swamp. So these swamp creatures are essentially, meant to be like politicians. Our hero swings into action, and his suit can change and morph into different things. He's got these blades, he's got these wings, and he's, like I said, going into action. He knocks over this giant rock that's a kind of like a sacred object in this cathedral of evil, and in the coming pages this rock opens up, and there's a sort of a creature that comes out that is kind of like a mythological alien demigod type creature. So it's a pretty wild story. But anyway, so I'm going back into the epilogue. We have a kind of an Apollonian godlike character, sort of an Aryan god, I guess, if you will. There's a scene of like Adam and Eve that these kind of Aryan gods are observing within their spaceship, and it's pretty cool stuff. This is just I didn't write this story. I'm just a lowly artist. No, but I'm illustrating it. So I think as an artist, you kind of co-write the story. You know what I mean? Because you visualize it. Granted, this author is very, very thorough. His scripts are really, really detailed. Let's see. Didymus says, remember in Conan 2 when the dragon statue woke up? That was based on high fantasy. Bingo. Those early Conan movies were freaking awesome. It's something that came to mind recently on that topic. It's just like there's just no good movies anymore, like back in the day, kind of. And I mean, I don't want to be curmudgeonly about it, but I don't know. It seemed like, I don't know. I feel like the 70s and 80s had a certain purity in a way that we don't have today. Everything's like super overproduced now. Um, anyway, maybe I'm just being a curmudgeon. So what's up with you guys? What's new in your world? You guys getting excited for the big debate with Gavin McInnes and Nick Fuentes? And oh, come on, I'm trying to think of his name. James Vincent will be on there, and excuse me, the debates about Zionism of all things. So what's going on is Conservative Incorporated is like doubling down, and you know, Gavin McInnes was just on Alex Jones, and they were doing backflips and jumping through hoops and whatever to try to explain away, it's the Nazis and all this just boomer tier idiocy. Suddenly out of nowhere, like Gavin McInnes is trying to like become relevant and grift again, basically. So like even Kanye like destroyed him, you know. So it's gonna be a shit show. My feeling is it's like I think it's funny because these guys don't realize that they're doing our work for us. They're giving us a platform on which our talking points can be made, and they think they're like, oh, well, we're gonna show them, and we're gonna talk circles around them or something, and it's the opposite. Like it's the opposite. So there'll be like all kinds of clips and memes and things that come out of it. It'll be quite a show. 2 degrees debating, 2 degens debating gross. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not on the Nick Fuentes bandwagon or whatever, but yeah. Anyway, what are you gonna do? I mean, that's another kind of complex topic. My general position is that I appreciate anybody that can get, that can dismantle Zionist hegemony and get the truth out. Even like when Kanye was doing that, I like, I can't stand Kanye. Like he's an idiot. He's irritating as hell. Super narcissistic. But when he was out there doing that, I was cheering him on. I'm like, wow, I can't believe this is happening. This is crazy. There's this. So I think you get the idea. I think a lot of things. One of the things that come to mind, though, is that it seems like in order to get a big following, you have to be a controversial loudmouth. You know what I'm saying? You got to somehow be very offensive, very controversial. It's a type of like an opiate, like an internet opiate that I think people want or need nowadays. Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, this is kind of a theory I have that we love to hate, and we're addicted to that love of hating, and like, I mean, that's maybe oversimplifying it, but like the love of the drama or something, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong or whatever, but like, this is just kind of the thing that I've been ruminating on recently. Let's see. Howdy, hey, Splatter Cat. Where it's at. We got Hippocratic Oath here, my man. Ye folded and tried to grovel, but the jays rejected him. Oh, ye, not like the royal ye. Yeah, and then now he's like apologizing. Dude, there's nothing more like There's nothing more like ridiculous than apologizing and trying to take it all back. But he got the call. You know, I think in the end, they will threaten you and your family. You know what I mean? It's like somebody made a point recently. Um, what was it? I saw something on Twitter about how you cannot be on these huge platforms reaching, you know, whatever millions of people and say X, you know, and criticize them. You know what I mean? Um, and I agree with that. Like, there's this a type of they control the media, so like, what the fuck do you think is going to happen? Of course, you know. Um, but the idea of like, I've got to apologize after all that he's done and said, it's like, talk about humiliating, you know. And ingenuine, like that's just so ingenuine, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck, you know? How can you be that bold and that, you know, vociferous about this topic and then somehow magically, oh, I'm sorry, I changed my mind. You know, it's sad, you know. Let's see, Dynamis says, when you scan these pages to send them to the colorist, how large are the files? So they're huge. These pages are 11 by 17. Like, you know, of course, a comic book page is going to be, you know, a lot smaller than that, right? It gets shrunk down. But I give him a lot of room, and then the file, it's like 300 DPI, if you know what that is. And then you can send JPEGs. The print files are supposed to be TIFF. Blah 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 blah. So, but yeah, I'm happy to talk about technical things if you need or you're interested. Do you do any kind of sort of freelance or graphic design, illustration work? I really like, after all these years, I don't have like my own scanner. I go to the local, you know, whatever, Kinko's or FedEx or whatever it is, and do it there. You know, granted, they got this really cute girl there who likes me. Come on, hey, you know what I'm talking about. She's adorable. Oh, so you know, when you're locked up in your studio all the time, you gotta get out and get some, like, you know. Oh yeah, human beings, they're a thing. You know, I was talking the other night about like getting into winter mode, you know, like kind of not going out as much. And I'm listening to myself saying, why the fuck would you say that? You know, a friend of mine, his birthday's today, and I'm kind of hoping there might be some fun weekend extravaganzas to be had. He's a pretty popular guy, so, you know, he's gonna have like a million friends trying to hang out and stuff. Which is, the more the merrier. That's fine. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do some kind of birthday bash thing. Could be fun. But yeah, if you guys can catch the Patriart Gamer Show, you're gonna just have to look up the Patriart, which is PATRIART, and again, he is the co-host on my Tuesday show. I wouldn't really say it's my show; it's our show, kind of thing. But damn, that conversation was good. So he started off by asking me things like, you know, how was your experience in Japan? And I'm reluctant to really talk a lot about my experience in Asia because it's sort of off topic with this community in a way. And like, I think, whatever. Anyway, I just sort of like, if people ask, I'll answer kind of thing. But I'm not like a sort of a Japanophile trying to like push it down everybody's throat or something. But anyway, we got really, really into it. And I discussed, I did an exchange program there. But also deeper than that, it was just about like the difference between our cultures. Right now, there's a huge push to get immigrants into Japan and like destroy their culture. I don't know if you guys are aware of it. It's horrible. It's a very, very horrible thing. But I did some deep dives on that. My reason for going was to study Zen Buddhism, and not like I don't know, manga or something. But anyway, and then that led into martial arts. So I was the victim of a home invasion years ago, and that's how or rather why I got into martial arts. So I kind of went through the history of the different styles and schools that I studied at, which was quite interesting. I think he's a martial artist as well. He's more of like Thai boxing and that kind of thing. But anyway, that was a good conversation. Then we kind of went, went down like the Buddhist rabbit hole quite deeply. But it was like a good conversation because again, like he's Christian, so he was trying to find parallels, and that's an interesting conversation. You know what I mean? And believe it or not, there are parallels. And I helped him to find them because I'm in this unique position as like East-West man, kind of. So I'm gonna read the comments here. Let's see. Talk about your experience in Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii. Let's get back here. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Hey, my channel's here. Welcome. Talk about your experience in Hawaii. I'm a really big fan of traditional Japan. Me too. That was more me. Like I was into theater and temples and literature and all that. I went to some amazing theater performances. I actually hate modern Japan and anime and weebs. Makes me physically ill to think about it. Yeah, let me actually I will put the Patreon link on here if you give me a second. I just have to kind of switch over to my laptop. I've never understood what the deal is with these like anime. What do you call it? What do you call those? Those like avatars with the cute little girls and stuff with the swastikas on them. And I'm like, oh, what? How the hell? what the hell is that? Like to me that's weird and creepy. And I'm not trying to offend anybody who does that in our sphere, but like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And hold on, let me get you the link, and then I'll talk. Hang tight. Okay. Okay, almost there. The Talos game stream is what it's called. And I'm grabbing the link now. All right, so there you go. I have to recommend that the Mark Collette stream was really good. It's nice to kind of let Mark Collette off the leash and let him talk about things other than politics. You know what I mean? He's just so enjoyable to listen to. He's very eloquent and very intelligent. And the audio is better on that stream. I hate to say. I mean, he worked out the audio issues at some point. It's not the whole show, but you can kind of skip through it a bit and get to the good parts. Let's see. Watch. Okay. Anyway, there you go. So I'm getting back to work here. So it was just ironic how the what do you call it? The Robert Sefer ancient Aryan mysticism video came out like just today, and it's like it's almost exactly the stuff that I was getting at. I mean, far more detailed. You know, he does these like deep historic dives. But anyway, it's interesting stuff. There is a connection between Aryans and Tibet and the Vedas and all this kind of interesting stuff. So, and I'm not like some kind of like historian on those things per se. Rather, you know, I'm interested in what it is that I can use in my daily life, you know, and understanding a kind of cosmological truth of what is real, you know, sort of the metaphysics of these things, you know. Okay. Oh, I gotta move around here a little bit for you. But yeah, so I worked for a Japanese company in New York City for 2 years teaching English. It was a great experience. I'm not what you would call a Japanophile. You know, I mean, I went there to study Zen and get some kind of like control over myself in terms of like the value of having a good, strong meditation practice. Granted, it's a very beautiful country, you know, and there's lots to see and do. But you're always an alien, you know what I mean? And then I went into kind of pulling back the curtain and explaining how oppressive the culture is to Japanese and how unhappy they are, how much they envy us, and like you see how they imitate us so much and so well, and a lot of that is due to, in a sense, how much they love our creativity, our sense of freedom. You know, there's a sort of a great deep admiration there. You know. And we got into martial arts quite a bit. I don't do Japanese martial arts. I'm actually not a fan at all of Japanese martial arts. That really like pisses off some people. I don't know why. I mean, it's just not for me. It doesn't. It's like totally against the grain of my personality. A lot of it has to do with just the raw fact that it's so steeped in the culture, so deeply cultural, that it has all of these kind of cultural attributes that to me are not martial arts. You know, like the belt system and the way that you have to behave in class and all this. And then the whole Mick martial arts bullshit of like the way all of this stuff got translated into American businesses that sell you, you know, belts. And I just was very fortunate to never have kind of fallen into that trap and that illusion. So it's not to say that, like, you know, whatever, whatever, that karate is not effective or not good, but it's not good for me. You know, it's not something I'm interested in. I vibe very, very much with Chinese martial arts, like way, way more. There's like other systems I'd love to learn. It's just really hard to find teachers in these other systems locally where I live. Penchak Salat is something I'd like to learn. I'd even, and like, I'm kind of like at a point where I don't want to learn anymore. I want to just perfect what I know. But there's so much good stuff in there that relates to stuff I already know that it would be fairly easy, I think, to kind of snap it together, kind of, like Lego pieces, kind of, Does that make sense? Anyway, this is where I get sort of into the nitty gritty with the artwork. It's going to be a lot of tiny details. It's like brain surgery with a marker. My channel says Sefer is half or quarter Jew or something, probably Sephardic Jew. Not the worst, but he likes the playboy lifestyle, has no children, too afraid to tell the truth, so he doesn't go more than toe deep. So I'm very much on the fence with Robert Sefer. I know about these things. My understanding is that he's more Persian than Jew. And I don't. This is a very difficult topic. So, how do I put this? So, here's a guy that appears to be doing a lot of work on and about anthropology that seems to be very white positive. That's like kind of, revealing things about our history that are covered up or not taught. And so if a Jew is doing that, they're going to do it in such a way as to deflect or obfuscate the truth. They're going to twist it and lie about it in some regard, to keep that kind of control, and that psyop going. I do like a kind of a fair amount of research on related topics. And so I would imagine, like in any field, you can, you're going to have different people with different positions on X, whatever historic event or, blah, 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 on whatever field that they're talking about. So I sort of take it with a grain of salt, but at the same time, I appreciate that, like, he's the only one out there doing this. I feel, a bit suspicious about certain things. But then at the same time, I'm like, well, yeah, but why would you put so much effort into making, research and shows and books about this stuff? You see where I'm going? It's like a red light, green light. It's a mix of these types of issues. So it's a bit hard to really nail down, like, is this guy a psyop or not? And where I'm at right now, with my current information, I'm more like 70% for him and 30% not sure, that kind of thing. So, with more information, I could change my mind, but that's where I'm at right now. And let's see what you guys are saying here. Robert Sefer was Sefer's father was a Jewish director and made a movie about the Holocaust. Yeah, there you go. Okay, he doesn't honor his Germanic ancestry by having children Micheling of some sort, or his mom, make her a grandma. But like I said, Sefer's publishing company is registered as a Jewish charity for tax. You're freaking kidding me. Are you serious? That's not good. That's not a good sign. I don't think he's an organized psyop. Tremendously insecure at a root level means once you get to know him, it becomes clear. That is really sad. That's really sad and disturbing. Um, oh, well, disappointed. It's fucked up, man. How deep it goes. You know what I mean? Like, damn. You know what I mean? It's just when you think like, oh yeah, this is okay, and nope. You know, and over and over and over. You know, so frustrating. This architectural stuff is like I said, brain surgery. It's you have to be really, really careful. When you're drawing people and organic things, you can kind of be a lot looser and let things sort of flow, but not with architecture. It's more, you know, architectural. Let's see. I think I can use this one. Yeah, mostly. Okay, I'll zoom out a bit. Let's see. Yeah, you guys are off and running here. There's some base Jews out there, but it's just a drop in the bucket and doesn't really impact their appraisal as a group. I agree with that, but I also don't sort of deny those guys their share. Hippocratic Oath says, "Oh, that's why people said to look at the publishing company." Like the guy who did the first big translations of Nietzsche to English was a base Jew. Huh. Wow. I never looked that up, but or past him on it. Purely a character analysis done without bias. I put Sefer in the brother Nathaniel basket. I love Nathaniel's debate with Alex Jones, but I don't trust either Nathaniel nor Sefer. That's actually a pretty like what you're saying makes sense to me. I channel, you mean they induce us to adopt their anxiety and neurosis? Nathaniel at least doesn't mince words. Sefer repeatedly avoids the most critical topics. Yeah, like I don't follow him daily on Twitter or something to see like what he's saying or what have you. But I don't know of any other person out there who's making anthropological videos about these topics. You see what I'm saying? I'm aware that books exist on these topics, but I don't know. I'd be interested to know like what you guys have learned or found out. Like I know he's real touchy about certain things. People asking if he's a Jew or something, whatever. But yeah, it's just, it sucks how, like, we can't have anything without, like, having to somehow question, whoa, wait a minute, who's behind this, is this authentic, it just shows how deep the psyop goes. Oh, low battery. Why is that happening? That's not supposed to happen. Hold on a second, guys. Come on. That makes no sense. I've got my phone plugged in and it's saying it's low battery. Charming. Another one of those. That's kind of the bane of my existence, is fucking, tech problems, I know that's, like, not an issue, but, like, I don't want to stop what I'm doing to figure that out, I'm trying to do a show, I'm trying to, like, focus on my work, Just checking out the chat. Yeah, I forget who said Jays argue and behave like women, but it makes sense to me. I would throw in the Milo types as well. They know how to hide and subvert. Yeah, there's a meme out there that essentially has, like, a list of, like, negative feminine traits, and they match up, like, perfectly with the type of traits that you see from the J community, and how they operate. It's tricked out, it's when you see that, you're like, damn, no wonder there's this, like, obsession with, like, homosexuality and feminism and all this, like, the destruction of masculinity. Like, that's, like, such a huge part of their psyop, very creepy. Oh, okay, where are we? this a bit. Focus on this area. Okay. Oh, there's more chat going on. Wow, a lot more chat. Let's see. Are you talking about the Old Testament, which basically UFO mythology? You guys are going real deep over there. So what else is going on? Let's see. Um, yeah, working on setting up a new show with Nellis. I talked about it a little bit on a previous stream. I've got Josh Neal as the first guest on that, and the hope is to kind of bring back the energy of the White Art Collective and what we were doing, and have regular guests that are featuring their art, and but tying it into the themes of what we're doing. So for example, the monthly White Art Challenge is a theme-based group, so every month they get a specific theme, that's related to nationalism or, white genocide or culture, or all of these things. And then they produce different works of art or crafts on those themes. And then, of course, my Tuesday show has a theme. So it's pretty cool. I think, people are kind of expecting us to put something together, and don't drop the ball, kind of, So I'm really the guy stepping up to the plate to get that done. Nellis and I have a nice history and a nice rapport. You get the idea. There's already a kind of a vibe there, and people who are familiar with our shows and etc. And then I'm also leaving it open for any of the Pillar members to come on like anytime, like an open door kind of policy on that. So yeah, that's coming together. We are finally getting the show together for that Kai Moros panel discussion. It's on his video on hate, and it's obviously a controversial topic. So we kind of had to put some time into thinking through how do we want to frame it. What do we want to say about the topic, and so it's going to be a good show, and that is scheduled for Monday, but it's at like 2 p.m. Not, most people are at their jobs and stuff, so they kind of catch the replay on that. But and then Kai actually found like a speech that he thought he lost, and he sent that to me. So I don't know. There's just a lot of good content there to work with. So we'll see. Probably do more shows featuring his speeches. The thing on hate, which is, it's obviously, and it's not like we're promoting hate. That's not obviously the concept. And of course, I have to be very careful about, censorship and not losing my channel, those things. It should be interesting. Let's just suffice to say, it's going to be a very interesting show. And we have like three kind of different people here. We've got Nellis, who has like a very Catholic frame. I'm going to have Luke Mason on, and Luke is much more hardcore. Luke is very unapologetic about his political views, which are very strong, very, very strong. And then I don't know where I fall in all this, but oh, I had like a jam there for a second, and of course everything I said during that was amazing and profound, but you missed it. There's that Naga serpent in the garden again. Donald is covering up the best part of Eve. Yeah, I'm a boob man myself, but it's funny because I thought about just kind of showing it or whatever, but there was a side of me that's kind of like there's in art it's sort of more traditional not to, and that has a kind of a classical quality to it, which I like. You know what I mean? The Naga, yes, interesting. Um, Hey, Robert Piles here. Robert, you were there today for the show on Patriarch's channel. Could you tell my audience what you thought of the show? What was it about? What were some of the things, the highlights, points of discussion? We were talking about it earlier, and I put the link to the show in the chat, for these guys as well. But I'd appreciate it if you could maybe share your thoughts on the show. That'd be cool. What happened to the music? It done disappeared. Done disappeared. Alright, hold on. I guess maybe we'll start a new music thread after the commercial is over. The commercial time and blah blah blah. Alright, back to the music. The Naga can still have the feet on this point in the story. He hasn't been cursed yet to crawl on his belly. Ah, fascinating point. Robert says it was pretty good. It's basically an interview stream, but it went into a lot of subjects. So I think I'm fairly autobiographical in a lot of my streams anyway, like on this, when I'm doing my art stream and stuff, I don't know, I mean, it's just, you talk about what you know, I guess. Let me check the chat a little bit here. So, art, religion, spirituality, current events, our scene. Yeah. So, so yeah, like that kind of brings me back to one of the thoughts I had earlier in this stream is how, I guess I feel like there's two general, maybe three general kind of paths or platforms, or I don't know what categories, I guess the word I'm looking for. And one is, of course, there's like the mainstream, which we know who owns and runs the mainstream. Then you have the sort of, I guess we'll call it conservative Inc., channels that, of course are like MAGA and all that kind of stuff, of which there's tons and tons. There's like so many out there, and they're not all, obviously, there might be have like smaller viewership or something like that. And I wouldn't call that conservative Inc. in a sense that like they're not like controlled psyop. They're not a like specifically like say PragerU. Like we know PragerU is Mossad. We know that. Whereas like Joe Schmo's, MAGA enthusiasm prepper gun channel or whatever, is not necessarily that, and there's a lot of those Joe Schmo channels out there. And then there's our guys, and I don't know, we're just very, very niche. We have like a really exclusive audience. I guess what I'm trying to get at here is how can I improve my channel? How can I improve my content? So these are just the things I'm grinding on. I'm thinking about a lot. I was just watching Jared Taylor's interview today about activism and ideas for activism. A lot of what he was saying was that we have to break into IRL. We gotta. He's kind of essentially saying like, the internet's not the real world, and you've got to transcend that. You've got to move past that. So, bang, like, okay, well, there you are, And so, I'm just contemplating, well, what does that mean for me? What is it that I am doing, or what I can do? What are my resources? That is the kind of thing I talk about somewhat frequently, I guess. But yeah, so it's just stuff that's been on my mind. And there's something nice about these cozy streams and just the intimacy of it, the fact that everybody knows what's going on. We're all on the same page, One of the points that I often make is how white people in general are to say this in a nice way, but they are very conformist, and they're kind of waiting for a social cue to let them know that it's okay to say or do or be X, you know. And in our case, that's problematic because we need them to, you know, wake up, as you will, or as it were, you know. And I don't think there's really anything one person can do, but and it's all happening. It's like it's really things are pretty amazing right now. Um, but it's just, you know, constantly sort of questioning where I fit in on all that, I guess is what I would say. And of course, what could I do to push it along, you know?